I'm Alison Belot. I'm an alumni of the Macquarie Applied Finance course. I did my course back in 1995 in Melbourne, and I'll be teaching Corporate Treasury Management in 2014. I joined BHP Billiton, or it was BHP in those days, in 1998. I went into the corporate finance area in the Treasury group. Shortly after that, I spent 18 months working on a corporate risk management project that developed our portfolio risk management approach that we released in early 2000. I've had a number of other roles within BHP Billiton outside of the Treasury. I think it's very important to get some broader corporate knowledge for you to proceed within a career within Treasury. I've worked in our marketing group, which does all our commodity sales. Also within our group reporting, sort of our external reporting team, and I've done a number of corporate governance projects as well within the group. I recently rejoined Treasury and I'm currently based in London looking after the front office. Prior to joining BHP Billiton, I've had a number of years of experience in KPMG in their Treasury Consulting Group and various front office roles in ANZ and Security Pacific. I'm looking forward to rejoining Macquarie Uni. I will be redeveloping the corporate treasury management subject and lecturing it in Sydney and Melbourne from 2014. The Masters of Applied Finance with Macquarie is a course that is highly relevant to anybody either working directly in corporate treasury roles, looking to move into corporate treasury roles, or perhaps from a bank perspective working with people in corporate treasury. It gives you a very deep understanding of the sorts of situations we're dealing with in a corporate treasury on the day-to-day basis. And one of the things that most appeals to it for me is that it's dealing with things that we're dealing with right now. It's not looking at just the theory, it's looking at the practical explanation and the practical application as well. So it gives you a very good feel for how actually working in a corporate treasury would pan out on a day-to-day basis, and an understanding of the sort of issues that we're dealing with and having to confront on an ongoing basis. There are a number of alternatives out there for people looking to do a course. The Masters of Applied Finance is a very specific type of course. It's quite different to an MBA, and with an MBA I feel you get a very generalist qualification. You're looking at a number of areas at a much higher level. With a Masters of Applied Finance, you are delving deep into a number of, or a small number of specific areas. So personally, I qualified or focused on the corporate treasury side. That was the area I wanted to work in. So it gave me some very deep exposure to corporate treasury issues, the things that are going on today, and gave me the sort of experience that I knew would enable me to sort of stand up in front of a board or a risk management committee and be knowledgeable and present well on corporate treasury areas. It's much more specific than something like an MBA, but obviously it depends what you're looking to actually achieve with that degree. When I chose a Masters in Applied Finance with Macquarie University, I was looking for a very specific edge. I was working in a bank treasury in a front office role. I was very focused on staying within the corporate treasury space. In fact, ultimately I wanted to be a corporate treasurer. So I was looking for something that was very much focused on corporate treasury and the issues you deal with in a day-to-day basis. I felt the Macquarie course had that mix of the technical as well as the relevant industry expertise. You were being taught by people who are working in corporate treasury or the other subject areas right now. The people that are actually talking to you are up to date with what's going on today. So that was what I was looking for. I wanted something to take me from a corporate, from a bank to a corporate, and that's exactly what this course enabled me to do. I actually hit my objectives within the time frame as a result of this course. There are probably three key areas I'm looking to focus on in the CTM subject this time round. The majority of the focus will be on the sorts of things we deal on a day-to-day basis, so looking at risk management, cash management, managing your balance sheet, relationships with your bankers, with the rating agencies, so the things that I would consider to be bread and butter for a corporate treasury. But I'd also like to look at some broader strategic issues. For example, where does the Treasury fit within the organisation? What sort of things should a corporate Treasury be getting engaged with? So there's a number of things on any corporate agenda. What should the Treasurer's role be within those activities? So things like mergers and acquisitions, major contracting. There's a number of things that perhaps aren't your standard day-to-day activities of a Treasury, but that's where the corporate treasurer can actually add a lot of value. The other thing I want to look at is some of the emerging issues for Treasury. So for example, there's a lot of changes going on in America and Europe around derivative fair value and EMIR, EMSA, Dodd-Frank around clearing of derivatives. So it's looking at some of those things that are going on that might not be affecting Australia immediately, but certainly will be coming this way. But also, if you're a multinational, if you're dealing in some of these markets, the sorts of things you've got to be aware of.